squad announced today, the T20 squad. You're pretty happy with the way it looks?
Yeah, very happy with the balance. I think we've rewarded some good performance in the Big Bash, along with guys who have been consistent performers in that Australian T20 side in the past. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Is it good to see so many Tassie names in there?
Yeah, it is. I guess some of them have. I think James Faulkner's really come into his own 2020 wise over playing in Melbourne, so I think good reward for him. Benny Lachlan has been outstanding for a number of years, and I think it's just reward for him that he really nailed his skills this year, and in particular the skills that he has have been bowling at the death. I think that's something that we haven't quite nailed as a team, and an area that we really challenged our bowlers around the country to improve on. So for him to do that and be rewarded is excellent.
Was Luke Pommersback's name come up in the discussions for selection?
Yeah, Pommer's name came up quite a bit. Yeah, he obviously had an outstanding Big Bash, so a hard name to leave out. But I think the guys that are there ahead of him certainly have earned their spots.
Was that decision entirely cricket related?
Yes.
His past discretions didn't come into play?
No, not at all. No, weren't mentioned once. All the reports that certainly that I've been getting and that I've been hearing that he's he's really turned the corner, and I think you're seeing that in the way that he's approaching his cricket. So I think that's hopefully been a really breakthrough season for Pommers, and you continue to see that in all forms of cricket for the next couple of years.
So what sort of factors from the other guys got them ahead of him?
Consistency, I think, probably. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest key. I think the guys that were Davey Warner, Finchy and Sean Marsh have been pretty consistent in how they've played T20 and even one day cricket. Now Pommer's had an outstanding year, but it's probably been on the back of a couple of barren years. So I certainly think those guys have earned their place, and we probably feel that those three guys give us a little bit more versatility as well.
You've seen a lot of Sean Marsh over the years. Do you feel like watching him that he's getting back to his best?
Yeah, well, once again, he had an outstanding Big Bash, and he's been really consistent when he's played T20 over in India. I think he's someone who, the more he plays and the more consistently he can get his cricket under his belt, the better he plays. So I think a real key for him has been staying fit and staying on the park, and when he does, I think his cricket skills naturally come to the fore.
Is it a slight generational change with David Hussey not being in the squad?
I don't know. There's a few of us that are starting to get pretty old now, so it wasn't a conscious decision. Well, I guess no, I'll change that. I think it probably could have been a conscious decision. But there's no doubt that we are looking ahead to that 2014 World Cup. But having said that, age was never brought up as an issue. It was more about consistency of performance and where we see that team going.
Just on the back of last night with the DRS system, and you guys talk about how you'll use your reviews going forward, like you only use it on one that you're 100% certain on when you've only got one to use in a one-day game?
Well, I guess you'd like to think, unless it's at the back end, that guys are 100% certain. I don't think a player should feel guilty that he's used the DRS and then an umpire makes a bad decision. That there should be a DRS there. I think it's there for the howler, and I think the onus is still on the umpires to make the right decision.
Does it get discussed at a team level? Like, do you ever sit down at the start of the series? We've only got one review for these games. Let's make sure we don't waste it.
No. I think it's there. The pressure is on the player. I don't think you want to be seen as a player who is reviewing everything just on the off chance that the bowler might have overstepped. So I think generally players have a reason if they're going to use it.
Do you think the review system should be reviewed? Isn't that what it's for? If a player hits the cover off one and gets given out LB, shouldn't it be reversed?
Well, it is, but whether you can do it for every single decision and make it unlimited, I'm not sure. Whether you take it out of the player's hands, that's one option, or the other. The other option is, I think if it goes back to being the umpire's call and you've reviewed it, it's not necessarily a wrong call from the team to review it. So I think you probably don't lose your review. I'm not sure I've explained that particularly well, but I guess that's the feedback that we've been getting from umpires and players, is that no one's necessarily wrong. It's just a a minority call.
Some people have said that the system they use in the Ryobi Cup could be a template, but I know you weren't a big fan of that. Is that something you'd caution against?
I think the way it was working at the Ryobi Cup level, I don't think it was effective. But one of the real problems there was the consistency of replays, and there's no doubt that I think international cricket and the way Channel 9 replay it, you're going to get the replay of nearly every ball, and you're going to get it very quickly and with remarkable accuracy. So it's something certainly to look at that level.
So just to clarify, you think the best way to do it, maybe to give it to the umpires for them to use?
No, that's not not what I'm saying.
Well, can you just sort of explain what you meant there? You said...
I'm just saying that's an option. That's
Yeah.
where one of the options is to take it out of the players' hands.
So do you have a preference, though? What would be the best option?
Not really, no.
We've got
Skipper,
sorry.
did the skipper say anything about the way he used it last night? Did he express any sort of regret about that at all?
No, once again, it was pretty. I mean, it was close to hitting him outside the line. It was close to going over the top of the stumps. I've got no issue with that. And you don't make it hoping that the umpires are going to get. I mean, the umpires happen to make a couple of wrong decisions after that, but that's the nature of the game, and that's fine. I don't think you can not use your review, thinking that's going to happen. They're both good umpires, and they go games and series without making those bad decisions. So that's just part and parcel of what happens.
Well, you've got to ask because it's got so much attention, but when you got out first ball the other day, did you think about the ingredients of a Big Mac when you were walking off?
No, KFC. There are two things I thought about that. One, that I'd certainly be working at KFC because I know where my bread's buttered. And secondly, now that I'm 30, I think I would have at least progressed through to the drive-through microphone. I'm not sure I'd still be on the flipping burgers regime. So I was a little disappointed with that comment.
Did you take offence at all? Or?
No, I know Buzz well, and I think anything that's said on radio can be really hard to convey exactly what you mean. So I've spoken to him about it. It's all good.
Just on last night, the Sri Lankans have said they'll contact the match referee just for a bit of a please explain about the decision to call the game off. But what was the mood like in the Australian team when that decision was made?
We were out there warming up, getting ready to go. It was a difficult one, I think, for the ICC to make because it wasn't raining that hard, and that was probably the issue because it was raining so lightly. The water was just sitting on top of the ground and it just wasn't dispersing at all, so it made it quite difficult. But I think both teams were keen to get out there, and I think Mahela, given that his comments in the paper about being told two different things in the space of a couple of series is worth investigating.
He talked about full ground covers as an option. They use them in the subcontinent. Do you think that could be an option here?
Yeah, it could be. I think when it does rain in the subcontinent, it does it properly. Whereas last night, it was just almost a fine mist. It didn't really get much heavier than that, and I'm not even sure it showed up on the radar that it was going to come.
Is there much you can do about swing bowling and good quality swing bowling that you're getting, and also with an eye for the Ashes and the bowling that might be encountered over there?
To combat it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think swing bowling, that's one of the arts of cricket. It's as a batsman, you're looking to be balanced and you're looking to know exactly where the ball is. I think the bowler's job is to try and draw a batsman out of that comfortable area. So the art of swing bowling has been a key to cricket since it began. And there's no doubt that when the ball's swinging well, it's a real challenge. And as a group, I think we've spoken about that. I think guys are working really hard, knowing full well that there's going to be a real challenge there in the Ashes later on in the year, and then once again when England come out here. So it's something I don't think guys ever stop trying to work on, as is playing really good spin bowling as well. And it can certainly show you up at times when someone does it really, really well. And sometimes it's not about looking pretty when you combat it, but just finding a way to get through it, knowing that it'll only do it for a certain period. And then the flip side of that is, and particularly one-day cricket at the moment with two new balls, if you can get through that tough period, that you do get a hard white ball to finish your innings with. So if you can manage to get a bit of a partnership going, there's some runs to be had.